Imagine looking at a luxury wedding album, right? You're flipping through the pages, and you realize something totally unexpected. The most expensive, highly stylized, and deeply personal item in the entire room isn't the bride's flowing white dress.
Right. It's the groom's bright emerald green custom embroidered shoes.
Exactly. Which is just, I mean, it completely upends the traditional visual hierarchy we've all been conditioned to expect at a wedding. You know, the whole architecture of the event usually points directly to the bride.
Oh, absolutely. We are so used to the groom functioning as basically a very handsome piece of background architecture.
Yeah, like a solid, predictable black column just standing at the end of the aisle. The doors open, the music swells, and he is just the neutral canvas against which the bride's dress can shine.
But looking at the trend reports crossing our desks today, that solid black column is crumbling.
It really is. We are stepping into this fashion landscape that has completely shattered the old rules, and it is honestly so fascinating.
So, welcome to today's deep dive. Today, we are analyzing an incredibly comprehensive styling guide and trend report on the new era of wedding fashion.
And the shift we're looking at today, it isn't just, a minor fluctuation in lapel widths or tie fabrics. It is a fundamental reimagining of what formal wear is even supposed to do for men.
Yeah, so our mission for today's deep dive is to unpack exactly how grooms are ditching that copy-paste rental uniform of the past. We're going to explore how they are using highly personalized fashion. Specifically, we're talking statement shoes and hidden embroidered cuffs to tell their own unique stories.
It's a huge shift.
It really is. And whether you are planning a wedding right now, or maybe you're attending one this summer, or honestly, you're just someone fascinated by how massive cultural shifts reflect in the clothing we put on our bodies, this deep dive is going to completely change how you look at a tuxedo. Well, to really understand the magnitude of this shift, we have to look at why that black tuxedo became such an unchangeable standard in the first place, right?
Yeah, why was it the rule for so long?
So, for over a century, menswear has been heavily rooted in the concept of the uniform. It goes all the way back to the Industrial Revolution and military tailoring. Men's formal wear was deliberately designed to erase individuality in favor of collective conformity.
Oh, wow. So it was literally meant to make everyone look exactly the same.
Precisely. You wore it because it was the rule. It was safe. Taking off the uniform means you're risking judgment, which requires a level of vulnerability that historically just wasn't encouraged in men's fashion.
That makes total sense. It makes me think of like a movie cast. For generations, the groom has been styled like an extra. Put him in the standard rental suit, make sure his measurements are vaguely correct, ensure he doesn't clash with the table linens, and just let him feed into the background.
Right, he was part of the set dressing.
Totally. But reading through this source material, the groom is aggressively stepping up as a co-star now. He has his own narrative arc.
He does, because the overarching desire of modern couples is bespoke luxury that reflects their actual personalities. And we should probably define what bespoke actually means in this context, because it gets thrown around a lot on social media.
Yeah, please do. Because it's not just getting your pants hemmed, right?
No, not at all. This isn't made to measure where a tailor just takes a pre-existing suit pattern and nips the waist in for you. Bespoke means starting with an entirely blank canvas. The garment is drafted from scratch, specific to your exact body and your exact preferences.
So fashion is no longer just about looking appropriate for the country club. It has transformed into this emotional keepsake.
What's fascinating here is the psychology behind why this is exploding right now. We are living in an era of mass-produced, algorithmic living. Everything is reproducible.
Oh, that is so true. Everything feels like a copy of a copy.
Exactly. So when you take the time to commission a bespoke garment, you are creating an artifact that exists nowhere else on Earth. It creates a much deeper emotional connection to the event itself. When a groom wears something that speaks to his heritage, his passions, or his specific relationship, he isn't just attending the ceremony, he is physically wrapped in the story of the wedding.
Which is such a massive leap in pressure, if you think about it. You're not just trying to look sharp in a photograph anymore. You're trying to physically weave your identity, your history, into the fabric you're wearing.
It is a lot of pressure, yeah.
Okay, so if the goal is to tell a highly specific personal story rather than just wearing a uniform, how exactly is that story being broadcasted? Because, you can't just wear a sandwich board down the aisle that says, I love my partner and I'm also really into jazz.
Right, that wouldn't exactly scream luxury.
No, but the trend guide points to a very specific, highly photographed new canvas for grooms.
Wow.
We were talking about their feet.
This statement shoe, this is huge right now. The traditional men's dress shoe, the stiff, glossy black Oxford, is being actively swapped out for incredibly bold textures, vibrant colors, and luxury materials.
It's wild. The feet have literally become the loudest part of the groom's outfit.
They really have.
Looking at the list of popular styles in the guide, they are striking. Velvet loafers are everywhere. And not just black velvet. We are talking deep navy, emerald green, burgundy. The guide notes these evoke a sense of royal elegance.
Yes, that rich, tactile luxury.
And then there are monogram shoes where the actual date of the wedding or the couple's initials are stitched permanently into the material.
It's like a literal timestamp on the wardrobe.
Yeah. And for the more glamorous aesthetic, we have metallic and patent leather footwear.
Yeah.
And my personal favorite section of the port highlights cultural and artistic footwear. Hand-painted shoes for the art lover, or designs that blend specific cultural heritage motifs with contemporary silhouettes. But okay, let's unpack.
Let's do it.
If you were listening to this and your everyday wardrobe consists of like a sensible navy blazer, some jeans, maybe some gray sneakers, stepping into an emerald green velvet loafer sounds terrifying.
It sounds like a lot, yeah.
It sounds like you're dressing up as a Victorian aristocrat or some eccentric rock star at an award show. How does an everyday guy pull off a metallic shoe without feeling like he's wearing a Halloween costume?
Honestly, it is the single biggest fear men have when breaking out of the uniform. The line between bespoke elegance and costume is incredibly thin.
Right. Very thin.
But the key to staying on the right side of that line is the anchor of intention. These bold aesthetic choices have to be anchored in authentic personal passions.
But does actually mean something to you.
Exactly. Let's take the hand-painted shoes, for example. If a guy who has never set foot in an art museum wears them just because he saw a viral TikTok of them, it feels like a costume because there is no internal logic to it,
Yeah.
It's just a spectacle.
It's fashion for the sake of fashion rather than fashion for the sake of the person.
Precisely. But if that groom is genuinely passionate about art, or maybe the couple's first date was at a specific gallery, and the shoes reflect the palette of that memory, it grounds the aesthetic in complete authenticity.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, when the choice is deeply personal, it gives the wearer a subconscious confidence. He isn't trying to play the character of a Victorian aristocrat. He is externalizing a specific, luxurious, romantic side of his own actual personality for one highly significant day.
So the authenticity is what sells the look. If you own the story behind it, you own the shoe.
Couldn't have said it better.
But while statement shoes are this very public, highly visible declaration like everyone sees your feet when you are dancing or walking down the aisle, the source material points out another trend happening simultaneously. And this one is the polar opposite.
Hidden details.
Yes, it is completely private. It is hidden away, sitting quietly right at the groom's fingertips.
The embroidered cuffs. This is truly the secret language of modern formal wear.
This section of the guide completely blown me away. It describes how embroidered cuffs act as these subtle, intensely meaningful accents that transform a standard tuxedo jacket into a deeply personal work of art.
Yeah.
Like the shoes shout across the room, but the cuffs are whispering.
It is an absolute masterclass in intimate styling.
And the variety of hidden messages couples are stitching into these cuffs is incredible. We are talking about the exact geographic coordinates of the wedding venue stitched into the inside of the wrist.
So romantic.
Hidden, private messages from the bride that nobody else can see. Family symbols, cultural motifs, or lines from a favorite poem. The guide gave this brilliant example of a music-loving groom who had a microscopic line of musical notes hidden inside the cuff, and a couple who met in Paris adding subtle French-inspired detailing to the sleeve.
It adds this sophisticated layer of emotional value that is entirely for the groom, and perhaps the bride when she is standing close enough to hold his hand.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Easter eggs directors hide in movies. You know, those tiny blink-and-you-miss-it background details that the general audience completely overlooks, but they mean absolutely everything to the superfan.
I love that analogy.
Thanks.
Yeah.
In this scenario, the couple are the superfans of their own relationship. They're literally tailoring their inside jokes and profound memories into the structure of the suit.
And the medium capturing all of this has shifted too. The source explicitly notes that modern wedding photographers are driving a massive portion of this specific trend.
Wait, really? How so? How does the person holding the camera dictate what the guy is wearing on his wrists?
Well, because the style of wedding photography has evolved from simple documentation to cinematography. Think about 20 years ago. The photographer stood at the back of the church with a wide lens to capture the altar and then took stiff, posed family portraits.
Oh yeah, the classic lineup shots.
Exactly. But today, photographers are building mood boards. They operate like documentary filmmakers. They rely heavily on macro, tight detail shots to convey the mood.
Ah, I see.
They want the groom adjusting his cufflinks. They want the extreme close-up of the French coordinates embroidered on the sleeve. They want the stylized shot of the emerald velvet shoes resting next to a crystal glass.
So these hidden fashion details are functioning as highly valuable B-roll for the visual narrative of the day.
Exactly. They provide texture. You aren't just capturing what the day looked like from 50 feet away. You're capturing the intimate, tactile details of what the day actually felt like.
Okay, but this brings up a massive logistical nightmare. Because now we have a groom who is wearing emerald green velvet loafers. He has secret French coordinates stitched into his sleeves. Maybe he's got a metallic accessory catching the light.
It can get very busy very fast.
Right. Here's where it gets really interesting. If you are an ambitious groom building this bespoke look, how do you know when to stop? What are the actual rules for balancing these bold elements so you don't look like a chaotic collision of fabrics?
That is the ultimate danger of bespoke fashion. When you suddenly remove the rules of the uniform, it is very easy to create visual noise. Statement fashion works best when it's balanced with severe restraint.
And the source guide spends a lot of time on this. They break down trending color palettes to help guys navigate the visual hierarchy. There is navy and gold, black and burgundy, emerald green, and silver.
All very classic but bold combinations.
But I want to pause on the black and burgundy palette for a second. The guide calls it sophisticated and romantic for evening ceremonies. My immediate instinct is that dark red and black sounds incredibly heavy, almost gothic, like you're styling a vampire.
Oh, I totally get that.
Right. How does a groom make that palette look romantic and not costumey?
It all comes down to the mechanics of texture and light absorption. If you wear a flat, shiny black suit with shiny burgundy shoes, yes, it looks costumey because the materials are reflecting light aggressively.
It's too much shine.
Exactly. But if you introduce velvet, say a burgundy velvet, loafer velvet, absorbs light. It creates depth. It takes the high passion, warm color of burgundy and softens it, anchoring it against the cold, definitive void of the black tuxedo. It draws the eye down smoothly rather than shocking it.
Okay, so the texture dictates the mood just as much as the color does.
Absolutely. And the guide lays out a very specific golden rule for balance. If the shoes are loud, the tuxedo must remain quiet. You need a focal point. You cannot have a competition between your jacket and your feet.
Got it. So if I'm wearing the burgundy velvet loafers, I'm sticking to a beautifully tailored, razor-sharp, but entirely traditional black tux. I'm not throwing a floral pattern jacket on top of it.
Exactly. You have to edit yourself. Heavy color on the feet requires clean lines on the body. The second rule the source outlines is creating a through line with your hidden details.
A three-line, like matching element.
Yes. If your aesthetic is emerald green and silver, the hidden embroidery on your cuffs should utilize that same silver thread. It proves the look is intentional, not accidental.
It shows you thought about the entire canvas.